Tell me the switch over, how that came about when they went to harness racing or whatever.
Well, it was a business decision, and there were a lot of behind the scenes complications with horsemen and contracts. That's another thing Ed was brilliant at, is contracts. And you know, there's a lot that goes into it. There's live racing, there's simulcasting, there are purse agreements, there are contracts with various and sundry with the Horsemen's Group, and it's a lot of union stuff, and as I said, a lot of regulation. And there were a lot of, you know, behind the scenes things that I'm not really at liberty to talk about. But the switchover was very much a decided and thought out business decision. But they're two even though it's horse racing, they're very, very different sports, and they have a very different fan base. As somebody explained it to me, which I found to be true. Oh, well, you know, wait till you find out you've been working with the Thoroughbred horsemen all these years. Now you're going to be working with the harness horsemen. And let me tell you, the harness guys and the Thoroughbred guys get along about as well as the Palestinians and Israelis. And I think that proved to be, in some cases, to be true. Very different sport, as I said, very different things involved, very different fan base. And whether you're a harness guy or a Thoroughbred gal, or whether you just love horses, or you just love racing, or you just love the betting, and you don't really care what you're betting on, it was just sad when the horses went away for good, no matter what your breed affinity is. I'm so glad that Rudy Baez is here with us and doing well, because August 4th, 1999, the day he had his horrific spill that ended his career and permanently paralyzed him, was one of the worst days of my entire professional career and my personal life, because very, very fond of Rudy personally, a huge admirer of his enormous talent as a jockey. And anytime there's ever a spill, it's an awful, horrible thing. But to have to witness that was an awful, awful day. I've unfortunately seen a lot of spills at a lot of different racetracks, and I've seen, sadly, several jockeys become a member of a club nobody wants to belong to, which is the Permanent Disabled Jockey Fund. But to see it happen at Rockingham and to see it happen to Rudy is a memory that I'll just never forget. It just started to cry again just thinking about it. That was a really, really sad day. But then there were great days, like the day we had the 100-year centennial celebration of Rockingham's birthday, and invited the entire town of Salem to come celebrate with us. That was a terrific day. That was a day every single time that we ran the New Hampshire sweepstakes, and I got to, be in the be in the paddock with the horses and be in the winner's circle for the trophy presentation. Those were tremendously great days, super lots of fun. I personally loved executing and running we used to do a family fest every day during the summer, usually we try it in July, early August, and we'd have the pony rides and that was all complimentary again for our fans, anybody who wanted to come. A great day for the kids. I loved running those events, and I would particularly enjoyed seeing the kids come back, the same families come back year in and year out, and watching the kids, grow up, and getting to know some of the families over the years. And it was always fun to, with certain kids whom you just developed an affinity for, and to see how grateful and appreciative they were when they'd win the Red Sox tickets or the bike or the Canopy Lake Park tickets or whatever we were giving away, and just seeing how appreciative so many people were of what the track was doing, and then watching the kids get their first pony ride, and see these kids start to have a love affair with a horse. that was always fun to see these kids who'd never been to the track before. Their families would bring them for family day, and we'd bring them over to the paddock, and when the horses were being saddled, and some of these, and they'd get to pet some of the, not the race horses, but some of the what we call ponies. They were retired race horses who were there working, and we'd bring a kid over, and that was their first one-on-one, first time they ever actually had their hands on a horse, and just watching this unbridled joy and ecstasy on a child's face, and know that, you know, today it began. Today this kid loved a horse, and maybe he's going to grow up to love racing. Those were good days. Those were fun days. Those were good times. It's kind of like, you know, reminds you why we're here and why we're doing this. Yeah, those were great days. Love it here, love the people here, made a ton of friends here, and these are people who wouldn't have been in my life if it hadn't been for Rockingham Park. So I'm very grateful, very, very proud, enormously proud to be a part of the Rockingham family.